Xiaoyan asked timidly, "What should I do?" After all, standing before him was the formidable undying Netherworld Sparrow, a genuine Do Xian powerhouse. We battle souls come in many forms and attributes, but we are essentially beings of pure energy. Even though I'm in human form now, I'm really just an entity of immense power, the undying Netherworld Sparrow explained. If you devour me, I will become part of your strength. Once you reach a certain level of power, you'll inherit some of my attributes as well. That's the fate of us battle souls. As for now, it seems you can only seal my power inside your Do Chi Si, the undying Netherworld Sparrow said after a moment of thought. My Do Chi Si. Xiaoyan nodded slightly in response. His Do Chi Si was already quite populated. It contained the sacred flame crystal, which held the essence of the sacred flame, as well as the fiery beast that compressed his Do Chi, adding a fierce battle soul to the mix might. Get ready, the undying Netherworld Sparrow said. Once you're prepared, we can begin. Sealing a battle soul is different from devouring one. It won't take much time. However, the process will be grueling. Even I. The undying Netherworld Sparrow trailed off, clearly concerned about how much pain Xiaoyan would endure as a perfect 6-star Do Di, trying to seal a battle soul. Don't worry. I, Xiaoyan, have never been afraid of a little hardship, Xiaoyan said with a smile. Good. The undying Netherworld Sparrow replied with approval. Once sealed, my consciousness will go into slumber. When the time comes for you to devour the battle soul, I will awaken again. During the sealing period, be very careful. If anyone finds out that you have a sealed sacred flame within you, they might cut you open to take it. The undying Netherworld Sparrow warned sternly. Understood. Xiaoyan knew the warning was well intended. He certainly wasn't foolish enough to flaunt such a treasure. But based on what the undying Netherworld Sparrow said, Xiaoyan realized that once the battle soul was sealed, he wouldn't be able to use its power until he had reached a certain level. Still, he wasn't bothered by that. It suited him perfectly. Having the battle soul sealed within him would save him the trouble of searching for it later. Guide that mysterious piece of paper into your Do Chi Si, the undying Netherworld Sparrow instructed, seeing Xiaoyan was ready. Into my Do Chi Si, Xiaoyan muttered, following the instructions immediately. Boom, boom, boom. As he guided the mysterious paper, a gift from Tsang Qi, into his Do Chi Si, a burst of dazzling silver light erupted from it the moment his soul made contact. Be careful, this is something precious, the undying Netherworld Sparrow cautioned. Get in there. Xiaoyan wasted no time. He wrapped the mysterious paper in his soul power and sent it directly into his Do Chi Si. As the paper entered, the fiery beast that had been lying dormant within Xiaoyan suddenly opened its eyes, feeling its territory was being challenged. It glared menacingly at the mysterious paper, which was radiating silver light. From the surface of the mysterious paper, unfamiliar yet powerful runes began to appear, causing the fiery beast to grow uneasy. Relax. This thing won't be fighting for your space, Xiaoyan reassured the fiery beast, unable to suppress a smile. Roar, roar, roar. Despite Xiaoyan's words, the beast, entrenched in his Do Chi Si, let out a series of roars, clearly still on edge. Something seems off in your Do Chi Si, the undying Netherworld Sparrow remarked, noticing Xiaoyan's forehead was covered in sweat. I'm not sure what's going on, Xiaoyan replied. All the Do Chi in my Do Chi Si has disappeared. The only thing left is this fiery beast. What? The undying Netherworld Sparrow's calm demeanor shifted into astonishment. Say that again? Xiaoyan repeated himself, and the undying Netherworld Sparrow's excitement grew. What's going on? Xiaoyan was bewildered by the bird's sudden joy. Kid, you don't know how lucky you are. Everyone knows that when a Do Di cultivator advances, they must compress their Do Chi Si. Before advancing to Do Di, your Do Chi Si would have expanded countless times over. Compressing it enough to advance is nearly impossible for most people. But you're different. Whether it's the sacred flame or something else, your Do Chi has already begun to compress on its own. It may seem slow to you, but to others, this is something they could only dream of. The form a Do core takes varies, but there's one universal truth. In the end, it will only be about the size of a human. But look at your fiery beast. Heh, who would have thought that disaster would turn out to be a blessing after all? Xiaoyan felt a hint of relief as he thought about the fiery beast. All right, enough celebrating. Seal me first, then we can talk. The undying netherworld sparrow cut him off sharply. Let's do this. Xiaoyan responded in a low voice. The next moment, the undying netherworld sparrow transformed into a brilliant surge of crimson energy, pouring into Xiaoyan's Douqi Sea and latching onto the mysterious paper fragment within. Boom, boom, boom. As the sparrow's power surged into his body, Xiaoyan was immediately overwhelmed by a searing pain, as if his insides were being torn apart. Kid, hold on, the undying netherworld sparrow warned. Its power was vast, and even though the mysterious paper could contain it, if Xiaoyan couldn't endure, his body would surely explode. Don't worry, Xiaoyan gritted his teeth stubbornly. He had survived the hellish agony of devouring heavenly flames before. This was nothing in comparison. Come, fire, Xiaoyan shouted. His voice strained as blood trickled from the corner of his mouth. Ignoring the pain, he called upon the flames within him. As his body was enveloped by fire, the pain not only persisted but intensified. Aarg! Agonized screams erupted from Xiaoyan's throat, yet despite the piercing cries, he didn't retreat an inch. What a tenacious kid, the undying netherworld sparrow remarked. Looks like he's bound for great things in the future. I won't regret following him. With those words, it fully merged into the mysterious paper within Xiaoyan's Douqi Sea. The screaming lasted for about 5 minutes before Xiaoyan finally returned to normal, collapsing to the ground, gasping for air. It's finally done, he muttered weakly, utterly drained as he lay on the ground. Xiaoyan. Mu Yingying rushed over, having heard his earlier screams. She found him sprawled out on the ground, clearly exhausted. It's done, Xiaoyan said with a grin, looking up at her. Good. But just as Mu Yingying approached him, an invisible vortex suddenly engulfed them both, pulling them in. As they were drawn into the vortex, Mu Yingying felt a familiar presence, a sensation that unmistakably belonged to her brother. As Xiaoyan and Mu Yingying vanished, a figure from the Xinling royal family appeared where they had just been standing. Damn it, the figure cursed. I finally forced the location of the other sacred flame out of Yin Qi, but I'm still too late. The old man, who was now in charge of guarding the 7th layer of the Earth Palace, leapt up and dashed toward the palace. Meanwhile, Xiaoyan and Mu Yingying had been saved in their final moment of peril by a distant Yin Qi, who had also been pulled into the Earth Palace. Xinling Continent, territory of the Medusa Clan. Sha. The golden desert glittered under the gentle breeze, its beauty concealing deadly threats beneath the sands. Hidden deep within the desert lay the Medusa Clan's grand palace. Today is the coronation of our new Medusa Queen, Snake Fu, a figure of great influence within the Medusa Clan, announced. Snake Fu's authority within the 9 great tribes of the Medusa Clan was unmatched. Well, now there were only 8 tribes, after the Avenger tribe had been wiped out following Nuadong's rebellion. Elder Serpent, you've worked hard, a voice echoed within the purple crystal throne hall. Sitting on the amethyst throne was the Medusa Queen, her cold gaze sweeping over the powerful figures gathered below her. These were the leaders of the 8 remaining Medusa tribes. Since the Queen emerged from the Medusa Divine Hall, she has been stabilizing her power. I wonder how she's doing now? Blue Flower Serpent asked cautiously from the side. The Blue Flower Serpent had once been severely injured by Qin Tian and his companions, dropping to the level of a 1-turn 9-star Do D. Since then, he had retired from his former positions, choosing instead to serve the Medusa Queen directly. And this so-called Medusa Queen was none other than Cai Lin. Cai Lin, seated on her throne, glanced around coldly before speaking indifferently. My strength is stable now. If I want to break through again, it will take considerable time. Her words sent a wave of killing intent through the hall, a clear warning to the powerful individuals below her. Such immense strength. The tribal leaders exchanged wary glances as they sensed her power. Elder Serpent, who is this young queen exactly? Her origins are unclear, one of the tribal chiefs muttered. Even though she's inherited the Medusa Divine Hall's legacy, we don't really know who she is. To ask us to submit to her without question seems unreasonable. The speaker was none other than the Snake King of the Snake King tribe, who had reached the level of a 4-turn 9-star Do-D. Heh, looks like the Snake King isn't entirely willing to accept her authority, Mei Lan commented quietly from the side. Sovereign Serpent, do you have any objections? Shifu lowered his gaze slightly as he spoke. Under Shifu's look, the Serpent King felt an intense pressure. Half-step Do-Sien. The Serpent King muttered, slightly strained, knowing Shifu's strength. Elder Serpent, don't worry, I can handle this, Cai Lin said softly to Shifu. Qing Yin, Qin Air, wait here for me, she added gently to the two young ones behind her purple throne. Be careful, Sister Cai Lin, they replied anxiously. Qing Yin, known for her rare triple flower eyes, vital to the Medusa tribe, stood beside Qin Air, a prodigy blessed with the three-colored heaven swallowing python blood, like Cai Lin herself. This mad woman. The Serpent King muttered as Cai Lin stepped closer to him. Cai Lin's seductive figure moved with a deadly grace, her hidden strength subtly on display. Serpent King, any issues with me? Cai Lin stepped up to the circular stone table of the 8 tribal leaders, her voice calm. No. The Serpent King faltered, his former authority dissolving under her intense gaze. I've inherited the legacy of the Medusa Divine Hall, and I promised that Elder I would bear this responsibility, she declared. If I didn't need this strength, I wouldn't care whether you lived or died, Cai Lin said with steely resolve, looking at the gathered leaders. So, regardless of what the Medusa tribe was before, as your queen, you will obey me unconditionally. Cai Lin was done with formalities, letting her Do-Sien aura and the powerful presence of the 10-colored heaven swallowing python surge outward. Thump! The leaders around the table dropped to their knees in quick succession, unable to resist. Among magical beasts, bloodline and power rule. Serpent King, do you understand me? Cai Lin unleashed an overwhelming pressure, targeting the Serpent King directly. The Serpent King, long prideful of his own strength, faltered under her gaze. A Do-Sien, with such pure 10-colored heaven swallowing python bloodline. The Serpent King whispered, looking at Cai Lin, finally yielding. Understood, he replied, the 8 leaders unable to defy their queen's authority. Rest assured, since I've chosen to lead the Medusa tribe, I won't mistreat you, Cai Lin said as she returned to her amethyst throne. In time, each of you will reach at least half-step Do-Sien. Whether you ascend to full Do-Sien depends on your own fate. Her promise held weight, sending the leaders' eyes flashing with anticipation. For the Medusa tribe, such power was hard to come by. Even though some leaders were at the pinnacle of 8-star or even 9-star Do-Emperor, breaking through to the next level often took centuries. With Her Majesty's guidance, we are honored to follow. The leaders' gazes held a newfound respect as they pledged their allegiance. For too long, the Medusa tribe had been relegated to the harsh desert, each tribe divided and weakened. United under a Do-Sien Medusa queen, they stood a real chance of challenging the Xinling royal family and reclaiming lands where they could thrive. The leaders understood the gravity of this alliance. Then, it's time for the Medusa tribe to rebuild, Cai Lin declared. Serpent King, spread my order. Anyone in the tribe with unknown or suspicious origins is to be eliminated without mercy. She released a powerful aura as she spoke, leaving no room for dissent. And don't rush off just yet. Once we're internally stable, we'll take action, she added. First, let's discuss our response to the Xinling royal family's intrusion upon our lands. Cai Lin settled onto her purple crystal throne, her gaze sharpening with a flicker of anger. Long live our wise queen. The Xinling royal family has gone too far. We must show them our strength. The Serpent King's voice rang with enthusiasm. The Serpent King had long resented the Xinling royal family, but with a Do-Sien's power now backing them, he knew the tides had changed. Your Majesty, what would you have us do? Although the 9 great tribes of Medusa had previously feared the Xinling royal family due to their Dou Xian-level powerhouses, they no longer hesitate now that Queen Cai Lin is with them. Even if our top strength matches theirs, the Xinling royal family has held sway over the mystic 3 heavens for years. There must be a reason for that, Cai Lin said, her brows slightly furrowed. Rumor has it that the Xinling royal family's Dou Xian is none other than the father of the current Xinling king, the previous king. His strength should be around mid-1-star Dou Xian, Shifu remarked. If he's only mid-1-star Dou Xian, I'm confident I can handle him, perhaps even take him down, Kai Tun replied thoughtfully. Of course. With the queen's power at the peak of 1-star Dou Xian, dealing with Xuanling's Dou Xian is hardly an issue, another affirmed. But over the years, I've noticed that the Xinling royal family has connections beyond just Solomon. It seems they also have ties to the Soul Clan, Shifu added, his tone serious. This information was no surprise given Shifu's extensive knowledge and experience. Soul Clan? Cai Lin's expression darkened at the mention of that familiar and unsettling name. Yes, that very unusual clan. Their reach spans the continents dominated by Dou Di, and while their base isn't on Xinling continent, they have a Dou Xian here, a genuine powerhouse at the late 1-star Dou Xian stage. Shifu continued. As for Solomon, their sect master is only a half-step Dou Xian. Hardly a concern, he added. A half-step Dou Xian isn't worth worrying about, but dealing with both a mid-1-star and a late 1-star Dou Xian would complicate matters, Kai Tun admitted, understanding the Xinling royal family's potential challenges. Beyond that, the Xinling royal family commands 3 formidable legions, the Tiger Fang Legion, the Wolf Eagle Legion, and the Dragon Devourer Legion. The Tiger Fang Legion consists mainly of 5-star Dou Di or higher, numbering in the hundreds. The Wolf Eagle Legion has fewer members, but most are at 6-star Dou Di and above. The Dragon Devourer Legion, though only 10 strong, boasts members at 8-star Dou Di. Even some close to 9-star Dou Di, undeniably formidable, added the Blue Flower Serpent. How does our strength in the 8 great tribes compare? Kai Tun inquired. Excluding the Xinling royal family's Dou Xian, we could easily overcome them without difficulty, Shifu replied with a smile. Good, then start preparations, Cai Lin commanded. Once ready, we'll strike at the Xinling royal family. This time, they'll understand the power of the Medusa Clan. Yes. The 8 chieftains immediately responded with gratitude. They knew that from now on, the Medusa Clan might establish themselves firmly within the mystic 3 heavens. Cai Lin, are you going to fight? Asked Qing Yin, her gentle voice betraying a touch of reluctance. Don't worry, I'll be fine, Cai Lin reassured her. But you two must continue your training. Otherwise, when I return, there will be consequences, she added, her tone softening as the chieftains left, leaving her smiling down at the young ones. The 2 young ones quickly followed the Blue Flower Serpent for training. In the Great Hall, only Cai Lin and Shifu remained. Thank you, Elder Serpent, Cai Lin said quietly, lost in thought. The honor is mine, Your Majesty, he replied with a slight smile. Having reached his age, Shifu no longer cared for personal power, only for the Medusa Clan's strength and future. Elder Serpent, I need every piece of information on the Soul Clan's activities in the Mystic 3 Heavens, especially about their leader. I need to meet him, Cai Lin stated resolutely. She couldn't shake the feeling that the mystery of the Xiao clan was somehow linked to the Soul Clan. With Xiao Yan's power still growing, as his partner, she felt it was her duty to assist him. This will be challenging, Your Majesty, but I'll do my best, Shifu replied, hesitating slightly. The Soul Clan was a terrifying force, one the Medusa Clan would typically avoid provoking, but he was fully committed to supporting their new queen. I'll take my leave now, Your Majesty. Rest well. As Cai Lin looked at the 2 little ones, Qing Yin and Yin, a hint of nostalgia stirred within her, bringing memories of Xiao Xiao to mind. I wonder how that little one is doing now, she murmured, her usual cold expression softened by a rare tenderness. Xiao Yin, she said, turning to him. Once the affairs of my Medusa clan are settled and your competition at the Incense Pavilion concludes, let's leave this place together. She leaned back into the throne, closing her eyes. I miss home. And yet, one couldn't help but wonder, What would the once mighty Queen Medusa feel if she knew about all the women surrounding Xiaoyin now? How's the operation coming along? Inside a dilapidated shack, hidden deep within the mountains of the mystic three heavens, two figures appeared, their movements shadowed. One, cloaked in darkness, spoke in a low voice. "Chief," replied the other, "for reasons unknown, the Xinling royal family has refused to cooperate this time. They're not giving us a single opening." "Oh." The chief's voice was laced with intrigue. "What's caused the Xinling royal family to change their stance?" "Working with our soul clan has always been mutually beneficial. They receive resources and fame, while we claim the souls. It was a well-kept balance." "Could it be Solomon?" "Impossible. The sect master of Solomon is but a mere half-stepped Do Xian. The Xinling king and his father wouldn't be foolish enough to rely solely on him," replied the chief dismissively. "No, the Xinling royal family must have found a stronger backer." A grin crossed the chief's face. "Interesting. Go back to headquarters and request they send a Do Xian. I have a feeling something quite entertaining is about to happen here in the mystic three heavens." "Yes." With that, the other figure dashed off, heading toward the edge of Xinling continent, his destination evidently in another realm. The chief chuckled softly. "Xinling king, you and your father are indeed intriguing. But what we need are merely souls. However powerful your allies may be, they're unlikely to comprehend the depths of the Soul Clan's strength. This time, we'll simply watch from the sidelines and collect the souls amidst the chaos." "Ha ha ha!" His eerie laughter echoed through the dim cabin, his figure beneath the black robes becoming hazy and insubstantial. In the highest-level meeting room of the Incense Pavilion. "Damn it! Weren't we supposed to synchronize the plan with the ruins?" grumbled Ling Mengsheng, Earth Hall's head, visibly frustrated. "The ruins expedition is over, and we still haven't acted. If this drags on, forget saving Yinji. He might even be in danger by now." "Patience, Mengsheng," chuckled Zhu Jin calmly. The initial plan was indeed to strike, while the Xinling royal family's forces were occupied with the relics. But the pavilion master sent word to wait. Something must have changed. What could have changed? Mengsheng's eyes flashed with anger. His hatred for the Xinling royal family ran deep, their feud carved into his very bones. "If those Xinling devils get in our way, we should just wipe them out. Why complicate things?" "Mengsheng, we understand your pain, but saving Yinji is paramount," Zhu Lao said gently. "This is our one chance, and we need to be fully prepared. Since the pavilion master has asked us to wait, we can trust he has a plan." "Who knows what that old furnace Fu Tian is up to," Mengsheng muttered, settling back into his seat, clearly still restless but resigning to wait. As the conversation continued, Mu Su, one of the leaders, quietly expressed his concern. "The relics expedition is complete. I wonder why Xiao Yin and Mu Yingying haven't returned yet." Elder Qing laughed heartily. "Your hall has certainly produced some impressive disciples this time. Ever since Xiao Yin shattered cultivation records and obtained the human hall's prized treasure, it was clear he was destined for greatness." Musu smiled, satisfied. 4 years, Heaven Hall and Earth Hall have been at the top, but it seems the wheel of fortune is turning in favor of the human hall. I'd say our disciples might even shine in the upcoming sect competition. "Where is the pavilion master?" Ling Mengsheng asked, breaking the laughter. The group fell silent, glancing expectantly at Zhu Jin, seated close to the empty head seat. Zhu Jin simply gazed into the distance, as if waiting for something. Not long after, a figure in fiery red robes approached from afar. Though his aura was subdued, it was powerful, commanding a quiet but intense presence. "Pavilion Master, you've returned?" Zhu Jin addressed the fiery figure who took his place at the head of the table. "Yes, I'm back," the Pavilion Master replied, his voice calm. At this moment, everyone present was a formidable individual, all participating in the critical mission to rescue Yinji. "Is everyone here?" Finchen sat down slightly, scanning the room. Not only were Vice Sect Master Mu Shuzi of the Human Hall, Ling Mingxing of the Earth Hall, and Vice Sect Master Elder Qing of the Heaven Hall present, but also Zhu Jin, along with the silent duo known as the Two Elders of Heaven and Earth, a total of 7 people. This represented the core strength of the Incense Pavilion. Despite the gravity of Yenji's rescue, the sect couldn't afford a full-force deployment. Some powerful figures had to remain behind to safeguard the sect. Yes, a few others have already been waiting in Xinling City, Zhu Jin responded with a smile. My latest intelligence suggests that the Dragon Devourer Legion from the Xinling royal family has vanished, Finchen remarked, his fiery red hair reflecting his impatience. The Dragon Devourer Legion vanished? Impossible. Qin Tian, leader of the Dragon Devourer Legion, is at the peak of Do Di. Who could quietly eliminate an entire legion? Ling Mingxing stood up, well aware of the Xinling royal family's formidable depths. The Dragon Devourer Legion was so powerful that even Finchen couldn't wipe them out in an instant. I heard the Dragon Devourer Legion's relations with the Xinling king have always been tense, Elder Qing added. So, it seems unlikely they were destroyed. To confirm, I checked their soul plaques in the Xinling royal family's archive. They're intact, Finchen stated calmly. Though he spoke nonchalantly, everyone was deeply shocked. The soul plaque archive of the Xinling royal family was notoriously treacherous. That Finchen could access it so easily showed terrifying strength. My current strength has reached perfect 2-star Do Xian. But to avoid arousing suspicion, I'll only display perfect 1-star Do Xian capabilities this time. Finchen thought for a moment before continuing. Perfect 1-star Do Xian and 2-star Do Xian were worlds apart. Due to the Dragon Devourer Legion's sudden disappearance, we'll have to delay the plan to ensure its integrity, he said. According to my sources, it seems the Xinling king sent the Dragon Devourer Legion to explore a ruin, and perhaps they're entangled there. In that case, Ling Mingxing's face lit up. With the Dragon Devourer Legion's absence, it's advantageous for us. Their presence would complicate our plan significantly, but without them in the Xinling royal family, our obstacles diminish. Even so, we must prepare thoroughly. We'll rescue Yenji, but not at the cost of any of you. Understood? Finchen's tone was icy. The Incense Pavilion's elite nodded solemnly. They knew the severity of the situation. Then let's move, Finchen commanded. We'll rendezvous with the others in Xinling City and discuss specifics there. With that, everyone suppressed their auras, altering their appearances until they looked like ordinary individuals. In silence, 5 figures left the Incense Pavilion, heading toward Xinling City. Zhu Jin's skillful technique left a few energy avatars behind, providing the illusion of their presence within the pavilion. Their intelligence suggested Yenji was confined in the deepest section of the Xinling royal family's underground palace. To enter this heavily guarded palace, they had to begin their approach from Xinling City. As they departed, it marked the quiet rise of a confrontation that would soon shake the entire mystic three heavens. Meanwhile, within the Xinling royal family, the Xinling king sat on his throne and mused, "Strange. The aura from those old Incense Pavilion members has been fluctuating lately. What are they up to?" Just then, Wenzi entered and bowed. "My king, the last sighting of the Dragon Devourer Legion was in the desolate lands. Qin Tian isn't content with ordinary status, it seems," the king said, a glint in his eye. "The old bastard. Not only did he fail to retrieve the battle soul, but I bet he plans to devour it for himself," Xinling king muttered, seething with resentment. "Wenzi, send someone to the wildlands. We must find them. Under no circumstances can Qin Tian absorb that battle soul. If he dares to absorb it, even death won't stop me from making him cough it back up." Xinling king snarled. "Yes, sir," Wenzi replied, departing immediately. Meanwhile, a frustrated Emperor Xinling paced, muttering under his breath, "What on earth is my father up to in the earthly palace? Ever since the old king abdicated, he's been stationed on the 7th level of the earthly palace, guarding the sacred flame. Yin Qi for thousands of years, they've sought ways to harness its power, yet its fiery essence remains elusive, untamed. And our fool of an ancestor, Xinling royal family's forebear, remains trapped there, petrified by Medusa's petrifying eye." He muttered on the 6th level, the celestial Bodhi tree mother, the blood demon envoys on the 5th, and on the 4th, Ling Mingxing's lover, Xuanmu Qing. Meanwhile, within the earthly palace's 4th level, a figure stood, bound and helpless. If Ling Mingxing were here, he would recognize her instantly as his long-lost wife. The fifth level lay thick with an ominous aura, as if an evil force permeated the air. Many lay in dormant slumber, a legion of powerful warriors from the Blood Demon Clan. On the sixth level, the celestial Bodhi tree mother stood vigil, guarded by dedicated Do Xian cultivators invited by the Xinling royal family. At the seventh level, besides Elder Xian, the father of the Xinling king, a formidable ghost immortal from the ghost realm resided, his presence shrouded in secrecy, even from the Xinling king himself. Hehe, Elder Xian. This sacred flame is more challenging than I imagined. What's your plan for dealing with it? Asked the ghost immortal with a sinister laugh. I have my methods. You need only bide your time here. As for payment, I will see to it. Elder Xian replied with a calm, stony expression. Our 3 ghost immortals, 2 are preparing to conquer mystic 3 heavens. Your people would be wise to tread carefully, the ghost immortal warned ominously. Elder Xian murmured, barely acknowledging the threat, his gaze instead falling on the chains sealing Yin Qi despite centuries of guarding the sacred flame. It remained untouchable. Only with the help of the tin-colored heaven, swallowing python's frigid bloodline could the flame be weakened, offering a glimmer of hope. After a moment, his gaze shifted to a silver statue, swallowed in darkness. Moss covered its surface, yet the aura of power it radiated hinted at its greatness in ancient times. Elder Xian shook his head, knowing his duty was to guard not only the sacred flame but the ancestor of the Xinling royal family, sealed by Medusa's petrifying gaze. Either of these 2 powers could vastly enhance my strength if I absorbed even one, Elder Xian mused, though his eyes grew darker. Meanwhile, back in Xinling City, the atmosphere was tense, as if under a high alert. Master, a cloaked figure addressed a woman in the auction hall's private suite. Draped in robes, she radiated a subtle allure, her delicate attire only emphasizing her beauty. Speak, she murmured, her red lips barely moving. One of the 3 ghost immortals, the Dark Knight Ghost Immortal, has made his move, the figure reported respectfully. What? Her voice grew cold. That vile Dark Knight Ghost Immortal. He's moving ahead of schedule. The Ghost Realm harbors many powerful beings, but these 3 ghost immortals plan to consume mystic 3 heavens. Their cooperation indicates an agreement between them, likely to attack after the sect tournament, weakening mystic 3 heavens' defenses for their eventual invasion. What of the grave-digging Ghost Immortal and Thousand Shadows Ghost Immortal? She pressed. They've yet to act but are amassing their forces, the figure replied. Understood. You may go. She dismissed him with a frosty glare. The Dark Knight Ghost Immortal has never cared about timing. His early incursion into Mystic 3 Heavens likely means a powerful Do Xian from within must have tempted him, breaking the seal between the Ghost Realm and Mystic 3 Heavens. And who might this Do Xian be, offering a prize so irresistible it swayed even him? It's getting more and more interesting, Blood Rose murmured before slowly fading from the auction hall. Meanwhile, outside the Mystic 3 Heavens, in the Ghost Realm. What? That Dark Knight character has already entered the Mystic 3 Heavens? Grave-digging Ghost Immortal exclaimed in surprise, his voice resonating from within a solitary tombstone in a desolate graveyard. My lord, I have no idea why Dark Knight Ghost Immortal would break the agreement and enter the Mystic 3 Heavens ahead of schedule, said Dark Crow Ghost Emperor, standing by the grave, visibly exasperated. The seal on the entrance from the Ghost Realm to the Mystic 3 Heavens is immensely strong. Unless some human Do Xian is interfering, Dark Knight wouldn't have gotten in so easily. Keep a close eye on Thousand Shadows. Any sign of movement from him, report to me immediately. After a moment of thought, grave-digging Ghost Immortal gave the order. My lord, should we prepare to enter the Mystic 3 Heavens as well? Dark Crow Ghost Emperor tentatively inquired. Heh, there are others far more eager than us, grave-digging Ghost Immortal replied, a sinister smile crossing his face. Of the 3 great Ghost Immortals, none is as fixated on the Mystic 3 Heavens as Thousand Shadows Ghost Immortal. And, as expected, Thousand Shadows wasted no time. He'd already sent his strongest subordinates, trying to break open the seal ahead of schedule.